What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade basketball analysis coming to y'all with a quick video. We're gonna talk about the San Antonio Spurs. People have been saying they doing their thing. They're 8-6, and they got off to a way better start than anybody would have thought. Nobody seen the Spurs being 2 games above 500 with this many games being played. They've been able to stay pretty decently healthy. They haven't really had too many issues with COVID-19, and they've been able to find ways to play together in close games. Their record actually should be a little bit better than it is now if they didn't mess up a lot of fourth quarters. And if they hit a couple shots with with 2 minutes left remaining, they probably could be 4 or 5 games above 500. But we know how the game go. If you can't close the game, if you don't win the game, you get a loss. But for them to be 2 games above 500, that is absolutely amazing. And they have took advantage of, being together. This was a team that was close to making the playoffs last year, but they ended up falling short in the bubble. So they was already one of the better teams in the Western Conference. They just couldn't put it together consistently, and that's been their problem, just not having guys that can literally step up each and every night consistently throughout a 72 game season. And a lot of it does have to do with guys finding themselves and finding what works and what don't work. A lot of it has to do with guys not just being great. They have a lot of good players, not a lot of great or elite players, which is one of the biggest reasons why they've been missing the playoffs, especially last year. DeMar DeRozan has been fantastic finding guys taking over the game when he can, but he has also had a lot of missteps in fourth quarters that cost him the game, and sometimes it actually helps them win games. But he hasn't been the elite closer for a while, and he's probably their best player. Aldridge has also been solid, but not, absolutely outstanding either. And those are the two guys that's getting paid the most money, and they're great to good, but they're not elite players at this point in their careers. And Spurs chose not to make any significant moves in the off season. They chose not to make any significant moves so far this season with trading some of their young talent or getting rid of DeMar DeRozan and LaMarcus Aldridge and going into a rebuild mode. They have decided to stay, prideful. We're going to go out here and trust in our guys that we can develop them, that we can work with them, and we can still go out there and compete with a team that we have had. And nobody thought the Spurs was bad. Nobody thought the Spurs was terrible. They just didn't have enough, to consistently be one of the best teams in the West, as we have seen teams like Denver and other teams in the Western Conference haven't been able to put it together because of COVID or injuries, and they have suffered while the Spurs have continuity and guys, following the rules and playing smart team basketball has really been the biggest reason why they have been so successful this year. And I'm proud of the Spurs. The fans deserve this. The Spurs ain't the most exciting team. They ain't the most fun team to watch, but they compete. And you expect that from a Gregg Popovich team, and that's what they have been able to do so far. And I'm just proud to see them, not tank it and not, say we're not good enough. They just went out there and said, we know who we are. We know what we bring to the table when it comes to basketball, and we know how to compete. And they have brought that mentality throughout this whole year, regardless if they made the playoffs or not, regardless if they're just a play-in team. This is the culture that you want to build. This is the culture that you want to have. You don't want to have a losing mentality. You don't want to have your young players developing bad habits or bad mentality. That things don't matter, or we're not gonna win, or we suck, or we're not good enough, because that do get into your brain. That do affects how you play and how you perform and how you think about going to work. And the Spurs have held these guys accountable. The Spurs have consistently challenged these players, and this is what you want to see. We've seen this with the Boston Celtics. We've seen this with the Miami Heat. You stay good enough, and then you make the trade to get over the top, or you show people what you're about and what you can do. And guys like LaMarcus Aldridge will want to come play with a Kawhi Leonard, And the Spurs have never been a big free agent team signing big superstars. A lot of the time they have drafted the player or have found a way to trade for that guy that could be a potential missing piece to keep things going forward in the Gregg Popovich era. And that's what they basically did with trading Kawhi Leonard. We don't want to rebuild. We don't want to give up. Let's get DeMar DeRozan to play with LaMarcus Aldridge. And then they made the playoffs multiple times. And now they just was a couple shots away, a couple games away from being in the playoffs again last year. And that's what you want to show your young guys. At the end of the day, we expect greatness. Regardless if we have the talent or not, we're going to go out there and compete like we do. We're going to go out there and show teams that this is the type of culture that we have, and this is the type of environment that we have, and we all about winning. And some teams like the Sixers, when they was one of the worst teams in the league and in probably NBA history with Hinkie, he continued to show a losing culture. They didn't care about winning. They did everything they can do to suck. They did everything they can do to continue to get high draft picks just so that way they can possibly build a championship team by drafting a superstar. And the Spurs are doing the exact opposite. We believe in our guys. We love our guys, and we feel like we're a family. Whatever you need, we can get it done together. And that's something that you don't really see from organizations, but that's something that we've been seeing the last 3 years that possibly can change the way teams feel about rebuild. And I usually call it a retool because you might still get a lottery pick, but you're not getting a top five, top three pick. But you also still competitive to the point where you're not that far away from being a contender. You're not that far away from being a legitimate playoff team. The only bad part you can be sometimes in no man's land, but the Spurs still trust in their development. They trust in their drafting, and they trust their basketball knowledge that, no matter what pick they get, they can find somebody valuable, turn a diamond, a rock or something messed up into something that's actually worth something. And I just like how they have built this team, how people kept saying this Gregg Popovich going to retire, Gregg Popovich going to retire. And Gregg Popovich has shown no signs or no hits that he's quitting on this organization or he's quitting on this team. And he has proved that so far this year that he still has it and he still demands out of the greatness out of this team. Whether he thinks they have the talent or not, he loves his guys. He's committed and loyal to his guys, and the guys are the same way towards him. And I think that that's a big thing to find out this year and the big thing to feel. But it's also something that I've been feeling about, for multiple years. And you can't count the Spurs out. If they got Pop, they got a chance. And we seen that last year that they still had a chance. They just came up short. And next thing you know, the Spurs finally missed the playoffs with them as a coach. So as long as they got Pop, they're going to be great. Whether if they're a playoff team, a championship team or not, he's going to get these guys to buy in. He's going to hold these guys accountable. He's going to push these guys. He's going to expect them to be great. He's going to show them how to be great. And that's something that you can't change. That's something that you want to have, and that's something that they still have, and that's something that you want to continue. So, some people want to see him retire. Some people think that he was going to run away when things got bad, or he's going to give up on the team and retire when things ain't looking up or they don't really have a shot. And he did the complete opposite, and that's something that I'm proud to see, and that's something that's good to see, and that's something that these young guys need to have in their life, in their brain, and also, seeing every day. And that's something that they have right now, and they've been having since Pop has taken over. And that's something that's irreplaceable and very valuable. And we're seeing that with the result of them being 8-6 right now. And I think that will definitely continue in the future. Other than that, check out my website, analysisplayground.com. Link will be in the description, comment section below. Check out my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com. Link will be in the description, comment section below. Like on Facebook to show support. You can also buy merchandise on my Spreadshirt and on my Facebook page. The Spreadshirt will be in the description in the comment section. My Facebook page will also be there. You can change the color of the hat, change the color of the shirt, customize it the way you want it to be, and I can get it shipped out to you if you message me on Facebook. Also, I upload every single day, have over 2,000 videos, so check that out. Also, hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of y'all day. Hopefully y'all having a good day. And, thanks for the love and support. Comment, like, subscribe, and share. And Quinn Wade, Basketball Analysis signing out. Do y'all thing.